I returned from a 3-week trip to find strangers laughing in my living room, drinking my wine, sitting on my sofa, and my own mother was the one who let them in. 3 weeks. Singapore. I had not even unpacked the jet lag when I saw it. The porch light. On. I never leave it on. Every light in my house runs on a timer. This one does not. I stopped at the door. Something was wrong before I even touched the handle. My smart digital lock, the one I chose specifically, the one I trusted, was gone. In its place, a cheap deadbolt. Fresh drill marks around it like a wound. The cold started in my chest before the anger ever reached my head. I knocked. Once. Slowly. Laughter from inside. From my living room. Then my mother's voice. "Who is it?" "It's me," I said. 2 seconds of silence. Then the lock turned, but the door didn't open. Just a crack. The chain was still on. My mother looked at me through the gap. No guilt on her face. Only irritation, like I was the one causing trouble. "We thought you were in London," she said. "No," I replied. I looked past her. My younger brother Nikhil, shoes on my white sofa, my red wine in his hand, 2 of his friends beside him. Music blaring from my TV. Cigarette ash across my coffee table. In my house. Nikhil's apartment was vacated. He needed a place to stay, Mom said. Like she had already discussed it with me. Like I had agreed. "So you broke my lock?" I asked. She did not answer that. She said, "This house was empty." "This house was not empty. You never even live here." I looked into her eyes. She was not looking at me like a son. She was looking at me like an obstacle. "Open the door. We'll talk inside." She did not remove the chain. "This is not the right time," she said. Then Nikhil appeared behind her, smiling. "Bro, relax. It's just a few days. Why did you remove my lock?" I asked him. "It was old," he shrugged. "It was a smart lock. Now it's a smart house," he said. His friends burst out laughing. That sound, in my house, is something I will not forget. Then my mother said words that changed everything. "You have money. You can stay in a hotel. Open the door. This is family. Permission is not taken here," Mom said. I nodded. I stepped back. I took out my phone. Nikhil's smile faded, just slightly. I dialed 100. "What are you doing?" Mom whispered. I waited for the call to connect. "Hello. My name is Aryan Connor, 19, Green Park Road. Unauthorized people have broken into my house and are occupying it." I ended the call. I stood there, outside my own door, waiting. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. Then the red and blue lights filled the lane. The door opened fully this time. The officer asked one question that ended it. "Whose name is the property registered under?" I showed the digital registry, the tax receipts, the home loan closure certificate, everything, on my phone, in seconds. The officer turned to Nikhil. "Do you have written permission?" Silence. "We are family," Mom said. The officer said, calmly, "The law does not see family. It sees documents." For the first time that night, I exhaled. 20 minutes later, 3 suitcases were by the door. Mom's face was red. Nikhil's eyes were full of something. Anger, embarrassment, disbelief. He said, "You are choosing a house over your family." I looked at him and said 4 words. "You chose first." After the police left, the house was quiet. I stood in the middle of the living room. I didn't celebrate. I walked to my study. The safe in the corner. Door slightly open. My heart stopped for half a second. I opened it fully. Empty. Files gone. Black hard drive gone. 2 contract folders. Gone. This was no longer just about the house. This was theft. I opened my CCTV app. 3 cameras offline. They had not just changed the lock. They had planned this. I filed another report. 4 theft. 4 digital tampering. That night I replaced everything. New cameras. New system. Fingerprint entry only. I did not sleep, but by morning, the house was mine again, in every way that mattered. 3 days of peace. Then, on the 4th evening, a message. Unknown number. "We need to talk." I did not reply. Another message. "I have some old documents of your company." A photo arrived. An old client contract. Clearly from the hard drive. I did not panic. I did not guess who it was. I already knew. I replied with 1 word. "Meet." They said yes. A cheap co-working space in the middle of the city. They thought they were clever. They had no idea the game was no longer in their hands. I called my lawyer first, forwarded every chat. He said, let him speak, record everything. I placed my phone flat on the table when I arrived. Recording, on. It was Nick Hill, sitting with coffee, acting like a businessman. You need to understand. You have a lot of money. We just need some stability. So you stole? I asked. Call it borrowing. And the blackmail. Negotiation, he smiled. He leaned forward. 50 lakh. Otherwise these files go to the wrong hands. He thought he was negotiating. He was confessing. I said slowly, okay, now listen to me. I opened the folder in front of him. Police report, CCTV tampering report, chat printouts, and his voice, every word he had just said, recorded. His face went hard. This is extortion. This is a criminal offense. And you just said it all on record. You won't do this, he said softly. I stood up. Same answer I gave at the door. I already did. The case moved fast once the lawyers got involved. Nick Hill panicked. He tried to reach me through cousins, through friends, through people I hadn't spoken to in years. All of them with the same message. He wants to settle. My lawyer placed 3 conditions. Simple, non-negotiable, a written apology, return of all files, every document, the hard drive, everything, payment of legal costs, and one final clause, no future contact. 2 days later, the hard drive arrived at my office. I checked it personally. The data was complete. Nothing had leaked. He was lucky, luckier than he deserved. The settlement was signed. His record was stained. He lost his job shortly after. I could have destroyed him completely. I chose not to. Not out of kindness, out of precision. I don't take revenge with noise. I take it with consequences. For the first time in months, the family went quiet. No group messages, no calls, just silence, the kind that only comes when people finally understand they went too far. A few weeks later, an email arrived. Subject line, strategic acquisition proposal. A mid-sized logistics company, up for sale. The name was familiar. I scrolled to the primary investor, Uncle Rajiv Malhotra, the same uncle who called me heartless in the family group, the same one who told Mom, money makes a man arrogant. Now his company was bleeding, for consecutive quarters in the red, bank pressure mounting, investors pulling out. They needed a buyer. In this city, there was only one. I scheduled the meeting. Glass walls, a long table. Uncle was already seated when I arrived. There was a smile on his face, the kind people put on when they need something from you. Aryan, I hope we can leave old matters behind. I sat down, opened the file, looked at the balance sheet. Debt ratio was bad. Operational costs were hemorrhaging. Middle management was bloated and overpaid. How much do you want? I asked. Full valuation, he said. I gave a slight smile. Full valuation is for companies that are still alive. Silence filled the room. We are family, he said. We are in a business meeting, I replied. His partner tried. We need more time. You don't have time. I placed the offer on the table. 40% of full valuation. This is robbery, Uncle said. This is market rate. Will you make us bankrupt? I looked at him directly. You already are. 2 days later the bank pressure increased. 3 days after that, he called. Can we talk? The offer remains the same. A week later, the contract was signed. I moved fast. Unnecessary managers were removed first. Cost structure rebuilt. New technology integrated. My team moved in. The old board made advisory. They kept the title, not the control. 3 months, cash flow stabilized. 6 months, profitable. 1 year, valuation doubled. At the next board meeting, Uncle sat in a chair he used to own the room from. He said nothing. There was nothing left to say. I didn't humiliate him. I didn't need to. The numbers did it quietly, every quarter. One afternoon he came to my office. No appointment. He stood at the door looking smaller than I remembered. You have changed, he said. No, I've just started remembering. He sat down. A long pause. Then, can you not forgive us? I thought about the word carefully before answering. Forgiveness and trust are different things. He waited. I can forgive. I don't give trust for free anymore. He nodded slowly, stood up, left without another word. The room stayed quiet after he walked out, but it was a different kind of quiet, not tension, not anger, just clarity. 1 year had passed. The house was clean. The business was stable, the name had grown, but one conversation had been sitting unfinished for 12 months. Then one evening, her name lit up my screen. I let it ring for a few seconds. Then I answered. Her voice was softer than before. "Can we meet?" "Where?" I asked. "Wherever you're comfortable." I chose a cafe. Not my house, not hers, not the office, neutral ground, deliberately. She was already there when I arrived. Her face looked tired in a way I hadn't seen before. I sat across from her. Neither of us spoke for a moment. "You've changed a lot," she said finally. "I learned to," I replied. "Was it really necessary?" "Yes." She lowered her eyes. "We thought you would understand. You never asked. He is your brother. And that was my house." The cafe sounds filled the silence between us. Cups, chairs, low music. She looked up. "Did you feel we didn't love you?" I took a moment before answering. "There's a difference between love and entitlement. You chose entitlement." Her eyes grew wet. "We thought you would always come back." "I did. I just didn't stay silent this time." A long pause. Then she asked, quietly, "Are you still part of this family?" "I'm a better part of it from a distance." She gave a faint smile. "You've become exactly like your grandfather." "Strong?" I asked. "Strict," she said. "Boundaries are strict." The bill arrived. I paid. She stood to leave. At the door she stopped, and softly asked, "Can everything ever go back to how it was? Without anger, without bitterness?" "No, but it can be better." She turned and looked at me. No sarcasm, no demand, just a mother looking at her son. Then she left. I stayed for a minute, finished my water, walked out into the evening air, looked up. That night I returned home. The porch light was off, exactly as I had left it. The door opened with my fingerprint. Inside, silence, clean floor, clean walls, everything in its place. I stood in the middle of the room and breathed. They thought I was far away and wouldn't notice. They thought I would bend to keep the peace. They thought blood meant unconditional access. They were wrong. People think revenge is loud. Real revenge is quiet. People think power looks like anger. Real power looks like boundaries. People think love means unlimited tolerance. Real love has conditions, and those conditions are called respect. I didn't destroy anyone. I simply refused to be destroyed. I didn't cut off my family. I made them earn the right to be close. I didn't choose money over people. I chose self-respect. Relationships don't run on blood. They run on respect. And respect is never demanded. It is earned.